One of my favorite exhibitions from this time of year is a collection of bronze sculptures by Gibbs Singleton of the Stations of the Cross, a commemoration of the 14 events in the last hours of Jesus' life. These moments are of the passion of Christ. This is his suffering toward the end of his life as he made his way to the cross. It's traditionally a Catholic event where these stations would be set up around the interior of a church, and then a Christian pilgrim could virtually take this walk along his sorrowful way, or the Via Dolorosa. As early as the 4th century, Christians were going on a pilgrimage or going to Jerusalem to go through this walk, to follow along the path that Jesus took during the last hours of his life. And over time, medieval churches started to implement this type of virtual pilgrimage inside their churches, which is how we come to have the modern idea of the Stations of the Cross. If you walk into a Catholic church, you'll see these stations positioned around the interior of the church. And it's meant for someone to go in there and walk through and prayerfully stop at each location and think of those events in the last hours of Jesus' life, for those that can't actually go and walk this Via Dolorosa, or the Way of Sorrow, in Jerusalem itself. So what Gibbs Singleton did was to create his own interpretation of these stations. And he did so in a way that reflects his own style. And his style was one that drew heavily upon his influence in Western sculpture work. Similar to Remington, he really had an affinity for Western bronze work. But he took it a bit of a step further, and his figures were more abstract in their representation, in a way that he calls an emotional realism. And in this way, he wanted to connect with the viewer, not just in a physical sense, but a connection to the soul as well. And as you were to walk through these 14 stations of Jesus' last hours, you were to get a sense of his emotional state as you went through there. This is another of my favorite exhibitions for this time of the year, and one that we love to have up during the Easter season. And hopefully one day you'll get to come and see it. And if not, you can see it here in our own virtual pilgrimage here at Museum of the Bible.